hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. It is August the 1st. August the 1st. Another month has begun. Season is almost here. 1 month left in the transfer window, and Arsenal, well, are doing Arsenal things. In the last few days, especially since we have gone to Hong Kong, it's been quite quiet. It genuinely has been quite quiet. Besides some vague stuff being talked about, there's nothing specific. Genuinely nothing specific. So today I thought, why not? Why not just talk about a few links here or there, but ultimately talk about Kai Havertz? Because at the end of the day, that is one of the biggest question marks at the moment in the team, and that is surrounding Arsenal. Because we know, obviously, Arteta is going to stay here. We all know that we have signed Gyökeres. We all know that left wing, who knows what's going to happen there, basically. Because for me personally, Madueke is going to play there. He's going to be the main guy. Maybe it's going to be Martinelli, whether it's going to be Trossard or what, I genuinely don't know in general. Because at the moment, that left side, well, it's been screwed up. It is screwed up to the maximum extent. But to add everything together, if you add everything together, all the transfer news regarding Arsenal with terms of changing left-wing position, well, have gone grave silent, to say the least. So that is still one of the biggest things that are regarding Arsenal that is bothering me, of course. Number 10, left wing, left back, all these things. And of course, the players that are in, because outgoing situation hasn't improved. We haven't sold anyone yet. So obviously, we're going to talk about all that. So like the stream, subscribe if you are new, and yeah, leave your thoughts down the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can go from there. Big Prani, bring Eze and Gordon, then sell Trossard and Jesus. Yeah, that would be ideal, but Jesus obviously is injured, so that is not going to happen. Let's be real. Gordon, will we? No idea. Obviously, I think Gordon is not going to leave if Isak leaves. Even if Arsenal were interested seriously in Gordon, I don't think Newcastle would sell if Isak leaves. Obviously, what's happening right now with Isak is also a weird situation. So we will have to wait how that gets resolved, because ultimately at the moment, it doesn't genuinely look like anything is going to happen. At the same time, Newcastle have rejected the bid. Maybe there will be another bid going in, and who knows what's going to happen there. Trossard, there were some links about him going out. There were some links with Italy. There were some links with Bundesliga. Some links even in Premier League. But ultimately, nothing has materialized. So there is that big thing as well. Personally, obviously for me, is a must. We still need a left wing, because if we put Eze on the left wing, I don't think we're going to get that much better. There will be improvement, but not to the extent people expect, in my opinion. The thing about Gordon is, though, I like Gordon. I wouldn't mind him playing at the left wing. Yes, he would be, in my opinion, an improvement on Martinelli and on Trossard and all this stuff. But overall, if we want to make some massive leaps, like Gordon also doesn't scream it. Not even talking about the fact that Gordon is English, he's Newcastle and everything. If we want to basically pull him out of there, it will cost us quite a bit of penny, to say the least. It will be about 70, 80 million. And if you're willing to pay that for Gordon, right, you might as well go and put your hat in the mix regarding Rodrigo, Leao, or somebody like that. So to some extent, as much as I can see Gordon, don't mind seeing Gordon here. I don't see it happening. And if we are willing to cough up that chunk of money, even if we cannot pay for Eze, to say the least, I also don't think it's going to happen. But obviously, some Spanish links are putting us in the same bracket regarding Gordon. So go figure. But ultimately, Arsenal at the moment is lacking players, no outgoings whatsoever, which is one of the most worrying things in general, overall and long term, if we talk about Arsenal at the moment. Because outgoings should be very essential. But right now, we are looking at still Lokonga is here. Zinchenko, Nelson, all these guys, despite the fact that Nelson has looked better than actually Trossard and Martinelli in preseason, which is also all very, very nuts. We have Madueke, but obviously we are not going to sell him. It's all so freaking, it's a mess, to say the least. It's been 6 years since this Spanish paella-eating man has been here, and it's still a goddamn mess. How does that make any sense? Nearly $1 billion spent. You should have your squad set. At worst, you should be going into market, sign maybe 2-3 players to freshen up the squad or something like that. But we are not in the spot. We are signing 8 players, 7, 8 players. Like, where does that make sense? That's not a rebuild. That's pretty much, if you look from a MC squad point of view, that's pretty much one starting 11. We have signed a goalkeeper. We have signed a defender. We have signed 2 midfielders. We have signed a forward. Like, it makes no sense. Arsenal are genuinely doing everything as backwards. We get told that Madueke is separate deal from Eze, and that is not going to get impacted by Madueke's signing, but it's obvious lie, isn't it? Because we have signed Madueke like that, and we still don't have Eze is still getting just dragged on and on and on and on. And the nuts thing about Eze's situation is that obviously Eze has release clauses, right? They run out at midnight tonight, tomorrow, wherever, whenever, whatsoever they run out, right? But the biggest issue about Arsenal in this instance is I'm reading countless reports that Arsenal are not worried about Eberechi's release clause expiring. Like, the thing is, at the moment, Eze's price is set at 65 million. You pay the money, you got him at the end of the day. As soon as it runs out, the 65 million fly out of the window. Yes, you can dream that you will get him for 45 million back and that stuff. But let's be real, that gives Crystal Palace reasoning to ask 80, 85, 90 million. Because looking at the market for what some other players are going for, they have all the reasons to ask for that. Let's be real. And if we add on top of that the fact that they are not in the situation where they are in a must sell basically situation, he also can stay. Yes, Eze wants to join Arsenal. He doesn't mind joining Arsenal. Personal terms are not an issue, and he has said himself he is open to joining Arsenal. He would love to join Arsenal, but at the same time, he has no issues with staying at Crystal Palace as well. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation in terms of if you are Crystal Palace, because you get the money, you can buy someone else. You lose a player, yes, but at the same time, you will have money to sign someone in his spot. It's only a lose-lose situation for Arsenal, because release clauses end, we haven't gotten him. Release clauses are there, we haven't gotten him. And now we are sitting here thinking that, arguably even, based on the current situation, Madueke is the last signing of the window. And if push comes to shove, maybe on deadline day we sign someone else, on loan even. And that could be Nkunku, Action Jackson, Garnacho, or someone like that. Can you imagine the scenes? Would that even surprise you, to be honest? Because personally, me, it wouldn't surprise. I wouldn't be surprised, because that's how Arsenal do things. They do somewhat bare minimum to even be in top 4. But ultimately, no matter how you look at it, we could get linked with Rodrigo, Vinicius, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Haaland, for God's sakes, or anyone else. As long as we have Arteta at the wheel, as they say, it means nothing. Because we still have the same manager. Last game we just played against Spurs. Oh, it's just preseason. Preseason, my ass. Against a rival, it's never a preseason game, first of all. And we looked the same as we did last season. You could argue we looked even worse than we did last season to some extent. Oh, but Gyökeres didn't start and Zubimendi didn't start. But what does that even mean at the end of the day? Because it's a derby. It's North London rivalry. Everyone should be up for it. And Thomas Frank in phase 1 showed up Mikel Arteta like Mikel Arteta basically is nothing. And to some extent, it feels that way. And all this money we have given him, you want to tell me we couldn't have hired a proper manager with a winning pedigree and gave him that money? 15 million a year. For what? Most of the managers who are winning trophies on consistent basis get 2-3 times less money than he does. Well, not maybe 3 times. No, actually 3 times. Let's be real, 5 million. At the time before Inzaghi actually signed for Al Hilal, he was at 5.2 million. Like, you want to tell me that was impossible? We even had chances to sign winning managers when we signed Emery, when we signed Arteta, and when we extended Arteta's contract, improved this deal. We had chances, and the club openly and willingly decided not to. And now we are in this mess. People say, oh, we're going to win something next season. There are people saying all Arsenal needed was Gyökeres to win something, to win Premier League even. Not gonna lie, even with Gyökeres, we are genuinely winning nothing. Because as long as this manager changes, nothing is going to change. And we know how stubborn, ignorant this manager is. He's never going to change. He's going to persist doing his thing, his way, till at the end of the day, we will end up with nothing. We're going to end up with nothing here. And that is one of the most painful things, because we can sit here and talk about this player and this signing, that position, how it could impact the team. But ultimately, the final result, the final chapter of the season will be written, and it's going to be the same as it was last season. And we'll be lucky to some extent if we finish second next season. We'll be lucky maybe even if we finish top 4, because with the games, if we play like we played, I'm not gonna lie, top 4 even would be a struggle in my opinion. And that is the nuts part. We technically add players to the team, but it's also who we add to the team, how they're gonna change the team, how they're gonna improve the team. Because many times it's not how much money you spend, it's how you spend it. And it's very visible and very evident that we have spent money on the wrong players, on the wrong positions, and at the wrong time. And that solely falls onto, obviously, Edu, also Mikel Arteta. And nobody cannot basically blindly back him. There is no chance, because if you are still at this stage blindly back this manager, oh my God, this club is genuinely done for dust. Big up, Sean. Big up. We must sell Trossard and Martinelli and get some money before their value plummets. We won't see anything better for them, and our attack down the left must be upgraded. Or the heavily, quickly, and everything. Quickly and everything. We need to do that. But we're not going to do it. We genuinely are not going to do it, because who's going to take them? Like, realistically. I can see Trossard leaving. Yes, I can see us selling Trossard. Do I see us selling Martinelli? No, I don't. Because I don't see a club who's going to pay 180 grand a week for him. Like, serious talk, who's going to put him on those wages openly? Like, there isn't a club like that who's going to do it unless you are a proven winner. And Martinelli definitely is not it. Genuinely, he is not it. Our wage bill could support Eze and Rodrigo and more. Is if we sold both of them plus Jesus, I'd even move on Havertz to get those. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's what we would do. Will the club do it? No chance in hell. Club is never going to do that, because they don't see it that way. They don't operate that way. Because, and this is the nuts part to some extent. Remember when Ralph Ragnick was at United and he said that this club requires an open heart surgery, pretty much. It needs to be opened up and fixed from top to bottom. And it starts to feel like Arsenal are heading in the same direction, because it's borderline. We are on the edge, basically. We are balancing on the edge, with every single move basically tipping us over that edge. And if something doesn't change very, very soon and very, very quickly, we will fall off that edge. And the question is, how deep is going to be that hole we fall in? And how hard it is going to be to get out of it? Because at the moment, it looks like we could be in for some dark times, to say the least. Lastly, move on the rest of surplus to requirements, reset the wage bill, and actually go find quality squad players and give academy players a path into the first team. Trust Bertrand Arteta. Yeah, that should be the case. But at the moment, it feels like Arteta is still calling all the shots. And until that is happening, like, nothing is going to change. Like, seriously. Big up Mubarak. While Arsenal doesn't perform well this season, Arteta sacked 4 players will be cursed to this. Calafiori, every injury, Madueke, Kai. Like, those are Arteta signings. He thought that he's going to take them to the next level. God knows why, but he did so. He signed Calafiori when he could have signed about 4 or 5 strikers that would be quality for Arsenal. He signed Madueke when he could have signed Eze. He signed Kai Havertz when he could have signed a striker, a proper one. 65 million to 85 a week for Havertz. You want to tell me we couldn't have signed a proper striker at the time? I'm not going to lie, we could have signed striker and another player to improve the squad for that money and those wages combined. Like, it's such mismanagement and such embarrassment that it makes it's so irresponsible the way we have operated, the club has operated at this stage, these last last 3 years, let's just put it that way to some extent, right? That there is no turning back unless you basically chop it off at the root, as they say. Even the system of play must be changed. Yeah, that is on Arteta. Will Arteta change? No, that's it. That's the end of discussion, because we can talk about all of this stuff, that he should try this formation. He should try this combination of players. He should try this. He should sign that. But ultimately, it comes down to the Spanish paella. And we have seen how willing and open he is to change, how much he likes the change. You can see how happy, excited, how very confident he looks in training sessions. Everyone laps it up. But we all know that he's a micromanager and he loves control. And in training, he has all the control. In warm-ups, he has all the control because he can call the shots. During game, oh no, there is spanner in the works for this. There is opposing players, there is opposing manager, different style, different tactics, different situations. There's the ref and everything. He has no control over them. And then as soon as someone can counter his style and his system, he's done. He's done. He's like basically has developed a software, technically. Let's be real, because we play like robots and we can say it as it is. As soon as someone finds an antivirus to basically counter all of this, he has no idea what to do. He has no idea how to code in the midst of situation. He has no idea how to type up an extra, let's just say an extra part of this code to adjust it, to make it adapt, to switch it, to do something. He has no idea. And it's been like that for endless years. It's been 6 years since he's at the wheel, and it's been 4 years, and he still hasn't figured out how to beat low blocks. He still has no idea. Every time we face them, we are done. You might as well pack it up, pack it in. Instantly. There's no excuses for this. Big up AFC always. Hope you're doing well, my guy. You don't need to be a tactician to see that the way Arsenal plays really bad and average, an Arsenal fan can see how the system is complicated, questionable, and repetitive genuinely. Yes, it is like that. It's very, even for Arsenal fans, some say we had a good game. But ultimately, did we even sometimes have good games? Or we just basically scrape 3 points, but the game was awful? It's mostly like that. It's just the winning paints over the cracks at the end of the day. That's how it is with the winning and 3 points in many games for Arsenal. And people want to say what they want to say, but I don't see it. Big up, people. Smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't already, people. Big up, Gavin. Big up, PV. Lavakar. Big up. Big up, Blavit. Hope you're going well today, my guy. Big up, Shane. Big up, Shane. Big up, Shane. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Go subscribe to Shane as well if you haven't already. Arsenal fan, says it as it is, spits only facts, and takes everyone by the scruff of their neck and just says there in their face what he thinks in terms of top gooners. And that's right. You need to call some BS out all the time. Big up Kai Havertz, big up. Big up Hendon. Hope you're doing well, man. We don't need Gordon. I can see that argument as well, 100%. Trossard is injured, so it will be difficult to sell on as well. Yeah, Trossard is injured. Let's be real. Saka, don't know if Saka is injured or not, or how he's looking. Calafiori is injured. Like, we already are starting to get injuries before the season even has kicked off. So that just already is a somewhat showing what we're going to see during the course of the next season. Because they are doing this in pre-season, but then include next season. You have Premier League, Cups, Champions League, international games. 2026 World Cup as well, by the way, people. Let's not forget that. So it's gonna be a massive mess, especially after the World Cup and before the World Cup. 5 years today, Arteta won the FA Cup, over 800 million spent, his own players, 0 trophies. Yeah, he has spent all this money. He has gotten what he wants, and he has nothing to show for it. Genuinely nothing to show for it. It's like we keep pumping in the money in a dying business in hopes that something is going to change. At the same time, we don't change anything about how we go about things. We don't change the style of the business. We don't change the manager of the business. We don't change the staff. We don't change the quality of food or anything. We just pump the money in and see and hope it works. Big up Marlon. But yesterday still pissed. Yeah, I get it. Absolutely. Odegaard, Arteta, Havertz, and all this stuff. Odegaard out, Nelly out, Lokonga out, everyone out. Nelson looks better than half the team. Big up football locker room banter. Hope you're doing well. Big up Shaq, big up James. Hope you're having a great day, guys. Go subscribe to football locker room banter as well, people, if you haven't already. The main problem is Arteta. Ultimately, yeah, at the end of the day, it is Mick, super duper Mick. He's just not the manager to get this team to win big titles, no matter who we sign another season to write off, rinse and repeat until he is sacked. The thing is he even gonna get sacked? Like, we say Arteta should go. Arteta must be sacked. This season is the last season for Arteta, as many people are saying right now. He is under massive pressure. But is he, though? Seriously, is he, though? Like, because it doesn't feel that way whatsoever. He needs to stop inverting left back, so he's not going to stop that. All our players goes down the right because right wing and Odegaard, Ben White, and Odegaard helps Saka, nobody helps Martinelli. We are very lopsided as well, and that also hasn't changed for what? How long now? For how many years? My prediction for the first 6 Premier League matches is loss, draw, loss, draw, loss, loss. The pressure will be really on if it happens. So loss against, loss against United, draw against Leeds, loss against Liverpool, draw against Nottingham Forest, loss against Newcastle, and loss against City. Right? That's your prediction at the moment. Damn, it looks very bleak if you put it that way. Who can afford Zinchenko? He needs to move on. That's the big... Who can? Genuinely, who can? Big up, BBK. Hope you're doing well today. Great show with Waffle today. Big up. Go subscribe to BBK Sports as well. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope everything is fine with you. Big up. Everyone's bigging up everyone. Love to see it. Gabriel is injured, tweaked his hamstring, the one he had surgery on. Yeah, setback in recovery. In shocking display of things. Like, season hasn't even started and it's looking very bleak. Like, that's the nuts part. Like, usually before the season, you get some sort of a hype, some sort of excitement, some sort of a hope to some extent that something is going to happen. We're going to do something. We're going to achieve something. But at the moment, season kicks off in less than 3 weeks. And I'm sitting here with no excitement whatsoever. That is the nuts part. Like, after the summer last season we had, the games we have played, the style we have seen, it is very, very, very energy and soul draining. Let's just put it that way, to say the least. Big up, Wahaha. Big up. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you are doing well. Obviously, we mentioned Gordon and everything. According to some Spanish reports, Arsenal are out of Rodrigo race as they focus on Eberechi, Eze, and Anthony Gordon. If that is true, go figure it out. Big up, Alfred. Where is Eze? Well, he's at Crystal Palace training and everything. He's gonna be a Crystal Palace player, I guess, because we are not doing anything, literally anything, to basically sign him. At least from outside looking in. Maybe we are doing something. It just hasn't been advertised as much, maybe, but you genuinely go figure if that is true or not. Go figure. Go figure, because apparently Arsenal are not worried that his release clauses are gonna run out. Arsenal are not worried about anything, to say the least. So basically he's gonna run out of release clauses. Crystal Palace can demand what they want, so yeah. That's about it. That's where it's gonna stop, to be honest. Same here. I have zero positive expectations of Arsenal. The only silver lining is that it will be probably lead to Arteta getting sacked. Well, you would think so. Like, literally, you would think so. But hey, Arteta won't let Berta push more of his players onto him after Gyökeres. 100%. Berta got one of the players he wants. After that, it was Mikel Arteta says and Arteta has to do. I just wish that in this club the people had a bit more backbone. I'm not just talking about the board, not just talking about Berta and stuff like that, that who could stood up to Mikel Arteta and say, no, literally, you don't need this player, you need more this player and stuff like that. But they also would wish that players would do something. Because we have literally such weak players mentally as well. They're like marshmallows, pretty much, no backbone. Captain is weak and everything. Everyone just pats everyone on the back. Nobody's going against the grain because nobody's calling out Mikel Arteta. Nobody's like on time. You hear reports that one of the players has basically locked horns with the manager and everything, and you hear that from Chelsea, from United, from Liverpool, from the City, from the big teams. Let's be real. At Arsenal, everything is fine and dandy. It's all rainbow, Shangri-La, paradise, and everything. It's all big, happy family. And the thing is, the families fight. They argue. They go into fights. They scream at each other. But at the end of the day, obviously, they stick together. But you see nothing of that. Nothing on the pitch. Well, sometimes on the pitch. But in general, nothing from the team. If Declan Rice, for example, against Real Madrid doesn't say to Arteta and what's the set piece coach, Nicholas Jover, right? F you, I'm going to take these shots. I'm not going to cross the ball even as you are wanting me to do. We probably are not winning against Real Madrid over 2 legs as well, because those 2 goals pushed Real Madrid out of their comfort box. They had to go forward. We scored the third, 3-0. If we don't score those 2 goals, big chance we actually go to Santiago Bernabeu with a 0-0 draw, or maybe at best at 1-0 lead. Like, there are lots of these situations where something should be done, but nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. It's like everyone's afraid that as soon as they say something against the manager, that's it. Literally, they're gonna get chopped off and sent back and just sold or benched or something like that. Exiled basically from the team. Where is Eze? He's not here. Still at Palace, happy and living there. Hopefully the Cronkies value him more than the clown. 15 million a year would suggest otherwise. Then again, maybe. Time will tell. Ultimately, yeah, time only will tell. I think this season will tell at the end of the day. Best club in the world. Big up Abigail. Who? Liverpool. I don't know. And if you're talking about Arsenal, well, not sure about that one, Chief. Like, literally, not sure about that one, Chief. But yeah, the big one. Kai Donkey Havertz. Kai Donkey Kong Havertz. Havertz is that weird player. He is such a weird player. Like, he was so good at Bayer Leverkusen back in the day. Even now it feels weird to say, but back in the day. Because when he was at Leverkusen, I actually wanted him at Arsenal. Ironically enough, I wanted him at Arsenal. Then he went to Chelsea. He had about 55,000 managers in the 3 seasons or 2 he was there. And I didn't want him whatsoever because he looked like, well, he's not going to do anything. He's not good enough for Premier League. And despite the fact that he has scored Champions League winning goal, well, Ederson helped him, but that's a different story, right? At the same time, he's still living off that goal. There's no other way. There's no reason why we are paying him 285 grand a week. No reason why we paid 65 million. No reason. Because surely Edu just called to Chelsea and said, hey, yo, we want Kai Havertz, Havertz. What you're saying, what you're saying, how much you want. Chelsea say, hey, how much you can offer? There's Arsenal like 65 million. Chelsea probably was like, be serious, come on, 65. Yeah, right, come on. How much seriously you want to offer? Arsenal like, no, serious, 65 million. And Chelsea is like, 65 million what? Rupees? Pennies? Krone? Rubles? I don't know. Dinars? What you offering? 65 great British pounds. Oh my God. Yeah, deal done. Dusted. Don't care. Oh, goodbye. That's it. And they took literally a few seconds. And I'm like, with Kai Havertz, it's very easy to basically get on his case at the moment and over the last year, right? Very easy to scrutinize him, criticize him, and everything. But at the end of the day, it's it's not his fault, right? Because Mikel Arteta signed him, he plays him and everything. Right, it's more on the manager than Mikel Arteta. If Mikel Arteta is the upcoming messiah, as the top Gunners are suggesting, surely he would improve Kai Havertz, right? If he's the winger whisperer, as top Gunners suggested when Arteta just joined, surely he would have improved Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Martinelli, and Marquinhos, and all these guys. But none of them have improved. Like, let's be real. One miracle season, that's not improvement. Everyone can be a one-season wonder to some extent, especially if you play a tactics that actually cater to those players' needs, like we used to play, and that catered Martinelli's needs, the way he plays. It was fantastic, to be honest. Watching as we were playing, you could argue the best football in Europe. We just didn't win anything, unfortunately, with it. And you expecting next season to see the same thing, and we saw none of that. Everything just turned to shit. Total control, abomination, micromanagement, everything, and it's done. But ultimately, with Kai Havertz, I don't know where we go from here, to be honest. I genuinely don't know where we go from here. Because you cannot help but shake that feeling that August... When is the game against United? Which date? When do we play against United? August 17th. August 17th. You cannot shake the feeling that August 17th, game against United. Game kicks off at what? 4:30 p.m., I think. So 3:30 p.m., starting 11s come out, and you just cannot shake the feeling to see Kai Havertz up top, Martinelli or Madueke on the left, Saka on the right, Odegaard in the 10, Rice in the 8, Zubimendi in the 6, Skelly, Kivior, Saliba, Ben White most likely, and David Raya. And that's about it. Like, predictable as a house tour to some extent. And the worst, like, you could justify that if Havertz actually did something on the pitch. But he doesn't. That's the big thing. Oh, he has bulked up. So what? Still, his touch is still as bad as it was. He trips over his own feet. He trips over standing ball, as we saw in preseason against AC Milan. Or was it Newcastle? I think it was Newcastle. Maybe it was AC Milan at the time. Like, this is one of those signings that basically has defined Arsenal under Arteta's regime to the maximum extent as well. To the maximum extent. Like, you look at it and think of all the things you could have signed, all the players you could have signed, all the things you could have signed, all the things you could have done, all the things you have done thus far before we signed Havertz. Obviously, I'm talking about that because that was the season when we lost. We were 8 points clear and lost it, right? You go and sign Kai Havertz. And that pretty much epitomizes the Cronkies, the Mikel Artetas, and everything that was at the club happening at the time, and still is happening at the time. Because ultimately, we always sign some average players, because, I'm not going to lie, Havertz overall is not an average player. If he plays at the right club, under the right manager, under the right system, he's fantastic. The thing is, though, unfortunately, that is an issue that I would say most of the footballing world has. Football players many times these days need to be under specific club, under specific system, under specific manager to succeed. Because if you fall under the wrong manager, wrong time or something, you're done for at the end of the day. And I think Kai Havertz is pretty much epitomizes that. Obviously, I'm not talking about the money because, like, that is genuinely just tiresome to talk about to some extent. But Arsenal, that is basically what Arsenal does all the time. We manage to shoot ourselves in the foot somehow in the most important times during our season or off-season. We manage to shoot ourselves in the foot when we get a favorable draw. Remember Olympiacos? Remember Monaco? Back in the day, Anderlecht and teams like that. Remember those days? And Arsenal still does it to this day. And if it isn't during the season with games, like losing at home to West Ham 2 seasons in a row, losing to Bournemouth 2 times last season, losing to Everton, drawing to Everton and stuff like that, then it's usually in transfer window. Either we have a super shit window or we have a bit an average window. And that is pretty much what Arsenal does every single summer. An average window. Never the best, never striving for greatness, never basically putting their cards on the table or basically, as Kenny Kidd says, putting their nuts on the table and having actually some big, massive window where we show our chest. Because Arsenal fans, well, mostly I'm talking about top gooners here, right? They walk around with their pigeon chest out high and everything, best team in the world, super duper Mick and all this stuff and everything, right? But there is no reason for us to walk that way. If I'm looking at this, there is no reason for us to walk like that, talk like that, feel entitled to anything, like doing this stuff, because we haven't done anything. Let's be real. We are back in top 4. That's about it. We have gone further in Champions League than we have done in let's just say, the last 15 years, to be honest, right? But that's about it. We have gone worse in FA Cup, worse in Carabao Cup. Like, at the end of the day, it's still bang average. It's still goddamn bang average. The standards have dropped so low, right? It's not anymore as other teams, like they're scared of heights from their high standards. It's dropped so low, you are afraid to stay in that ditch you have dropped them so low in at the end of the day. Best club in the world. Havertz is like Merino, who they really... where do they really fit in? Yeah. Havertz is not good in any position. He is decent, average, at best in multiple positions, right? But he's not good. He doesn't excel at anything in those terms. Same goes for Merino, to be honest. He's as an 8. He might be decent in other leagues. In Premier League, it's not it. Didn't work at Newcastle. Didn't work at Borussia Dortmund. Didn't somewhat worked, let's be real, at Real Sociedad, but hasn't worked at Arsenal. Like, Merino, who has never played striker in his life, last season had bare performances at striker that I have seen him ever play as a midfielder from the games I have watched of him ever play midfield. Where does that make sense? He had better performances than Kai Havertz at striker. Like, it's genuinely as backwards if you come to think of it. Merino is more unpredictable. He has better touch. He has better shot with his left foot. He's more consistent getting the ball on the target. Like, he's better with link-up play. He has better passing. Like, how does that make any sense? Oh, look how much Donkey Kai has bulked up. I've seen Skeletons have more mass on their arms. Arteta has a crevice where they fit perfect. He fits. Arteta wants the Swiss Army knife type of players, and I hate that term with passion, to be honest, because I'm a very strong believer that there are specific positions in the team that require to have specialists in the team, and those are center backs, obviously. Those are, let's just say, some midfielders, number 6, maybe number 10. Number 10 is a died-out position, to be honest, these days, but it's a bit different story. Let's just say number 6 or number 8, right? And a striker. That should be a specific specialist. You know, Lewandowski, Haaland, you know, Guirassy, Sorloth, at the moment, Gyökeres, who we have just signed and stuff like that. You cannot have Swiss Army knife players type there. You could have them on wings, which can interchange with each other. You can technically maybe do something with left back, right back, potentially, if you have the right player. But even though, to be honest, you should have specialists in certain positions in the team. You cannot have basically makeshift type of players all across the pitch. Because if the players are average in multiple positions but are not great at any position, the team is going to be average. Because you don't have the amazing player for that specific position. And there was a saying, and there still is a saying, one of the best sports commentators I've ever heard of in my life, he said that, show me your midfield, and I will tell you what your team is all about. And first time I heard that, I was 8, right? And that was basically 1 year before I started supporting Arsenal. And it kind of stuck with me because I was watching my local teams. They were playing in Champions League and everything, and they actually had a decent midfield, right? And then I started to see some Premier League games, some Serie A games, and stuff like that. I was watching players, your Pirlos, Gattusos, and the later Marquisios. Then you watch at Arsenal, you watch Patrick Vieira and every players like that. You watch all these great players, and I got it. At the time, I got it. It's something clicked in me, and I got it what he meant by that sentence. Few years later, basically, right? And now, if I apply this to this day specifically, and I look at this and think, show me your midfield, and I will tell you what your team is all about. And I'm looking at Arsenal's midfield. It's very scary, and not in a good way, to be honest, because I can see the reasons why, for example, we signed Zubimendi, right? At the same time, I also see weaknesses in his game. I look at Declan Rice. Arteta wants him to play as an advanced 10. Number 8 who pushes up to be on a left 10. But Declan Rice has never been good enough to play that position because he's technically not that gifted for those situations, for example, right? Then I look at Odegaard. Let's be real, the less said the better. Merino, the less said the better. Norgard, well, and everything. Lokonga, holy crap. So if I apply that sentence to our midfield, well, we're done. We don't have a title-winning midfield. We have a top. You could argue we don't even have a top 4 midfield, but we just get bailed out by our defense, and that has been our bread and butter in the last 2 seasons. Our defense basically has bailed out the insufficiencies of the rest of the squad combined, and that includes midfield and attack. And that's why we were where we were last season and season before and season before that. Our defense literally has saved our ass big time. And at some point, the penny has to drop. At some point, it should not be enough. And I think this could be that season where our defense is not going to hold up that much anymore. It's going to have cracks. It's going to have issues. Whether it's injuries, bad form, or what, or other teams can figure this out, that's a completely different story. But we will see those cracks, we will see those issues, and it's then gonna be very long. Because we don't have options, at the moment at least, while we are already in the transfer window, we haven't signed the necessary options and potential players to rectify these problems whatsoever. And those problems have been staring in our faces for years, to say the least. It took us countless years to replace, for example, Patrick Vieira. It took us almost a decade, by the way, 7.5 years to sign a proper number 9 since we last time signed a proper striker, which was Aubameyang, and everything. It has taken for us so long to replace specific positions that by the time we fix one spot, another one is broken. So we fix our defense, our attack is broken. If we're not fixing our attack, our midfield is broken now. So next summer we will focus on midfield. And while we are fixing midfield, our defense is going to break down again. And we go in an endless loop. Never do enough in any transfer window. Never do enough in any situation required. And that is total and utter embodiment of what is Arsenal these days, especially since we moved to Emirates. More specifically, since we moved to Emirates. We have never been the same, ever. From what I remember from Highbury days, and compared to Emirates, it's like night and day to some extent. I hope we give Max Daum a chance in the senior team. We will. Just the question is how much of a chance? 16 days until Zag's winner. Yeah. Or Hoyland, or Sesko, or, I don't know, Garnaches if he's still there, or Diallo, or Bruno Fernandes, because you actually have a captain in Bruno Fernandes who actually scores goals, who actually steps up in these games. As much as I don't like, actually, Bruno Fernandes, because he complains too much, it pisses me off and everything, he actually steps up for you. Yes, he has terrible performances on occasion, but when push comes to shove, he actually scores the goals you need to get you over the line sometimes. Like, serious talk. If I had a chance to swap Odegaard for Bruno Fernandes, I actually would. That's the nuts part. That is the nuts part in all of this. Or Sesko winner, exactly. Chelsea is really playing bad. Dude, Chelsea, I'm worried about Chelsea. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea overtake us next season. Would not be surprised if Chelsea overtake us next season. That is the other nuts part. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Oh, Austrian Bundesliga has begun. Oh, yes, I have something to watch in football, actually, at some point. That is actually quite nice. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. That will be a fantastic watch. Did you see that tackle on Jed, though? No, I didn't. I haven't seen. Oh, yeah, Havertz to Jed Spence. Yeah, he missed and everything and just tackled the player that was next to the ball. That didn't have the ball, but that was next to the other player. Like, that is actually insane. Bear in mind that Arsenal played United 3 times last season, only won once. Yes, exactly. Won once. Lost the FA Cup third round, which is 10-man, by the way. 10-man United. And drew at Old Trafford. The worst United side in decades, exactly. And people say that we have the best Arsenal side in decades. No, I cannot say decades. In the last decade, Arsenal technically have the best side. United have actually the worst side in the last decade. And we still didn't manage to get over them. Still, 10-man United, we lose to them. Old Trafford, well, we always do bad at Old Trafford, but it's a different story. But still, we draw there. At home as well, by the way. We won 2-0. Yes, we won 2-0 at home against United. But during that game, did you ever thought that we would win the game? Personally, I didn't. We scored 2 corner goals. Man United, arguably last season, was top 3 worst set-piece defending team at the time when we played them, when we won 2-0. And United fans said themselves that we are awful at defending set pieces. And we saw that Amorim on the pitch, by the way, game 2 or game 3 for Amorim, right? On the pitch, absolutely pretty much nullified the Arsenal. People said that, for the stats merchants, by the way, Arsenal had 2.69 XG or some crap like that. From open play, we had 0.6 XG. We got 2 XG just from corners alone. We just got saved our asses by the corners at the end of the day. From open play, we were utter trash. Arteta doing shows off. Yeah, exactly. That's what Arsenal have been doing for years, to be honest. Well, whichever, but I hope Højlund doesn't play. Dude, if he scores winner, you will be shameless. Don't act like you won't. Why does Declan Rice get a free pass? Yeah, that I don't know as well. Everybody going about how bad Martinelli, Odegaard, but Declan Rice in this team doing absolutely nothing. Like, that's the thing. For me, Declan Rice is getting played out of position, right? Okay, let's take that out of the equation, right? At the same time, Declan Rice, he's very, very good player, right? But if he has a great game, trust me, you will know that he's having a great game. But if he has a stinker, you will know that he's having a stinker. He usually doesn't have these solid in-between games where he gives you a solid 7 out of 10. Let's just put it that way. He either has 8-9 out of 10 games or he has 5-4 out of 10 games. That for me is as well, like, is a bit of a worry. Let's just put it that way. Also, in the beginning of the last season, he was winded. He didn't have the energy. In the start of the season, for the first about 10 games, something like that. After the first half an hour, 35 minutes for the amount of running he is requiring to do, he looked gassed. When we went on corners, he literally was holding up to the corner flag to stand on his feet sometimes. He looked so gassed, out of breath, it was actually kind of worrying to some extent. Yeah, if there's a decent offer, he goes. Yeah, if there's this decent offer for Højlund. Højlund apparently wants to return to Serie A. Where is Thomas Partey now? Well, his hearing is in about a few days. Isn't it like 5th or 6th of August, if I'm not mistaken. About to sign the for Scotland Yard. Yeah, long term, no release clauses and everything. And I look down enough myself. EFL League 1 has started tonight too. Luton Town versus Wimbledon. Oh, nice. Like, who is the Wimbledon fan? Who is the Wimbledon fan of all of these people? I don't know. One of the top Gunners. Wasn't he a Wimbledon fan as well? Luton Town, that's Robbie's team, and Wimbledon Town as well for someone. Big up Pee-wee again. I'd play Rise of Mendy as the 6, Odegaard as the 8, and Eze as the 10. I would literally, if we, like, you see you saying Eze as we have gotten him, we don't, right? Even if we get Eze, I would play 4-2-3-1 double pivot, Rice Zubimendi as 2 6s, and Eze in the 10. Give him a free roam type of role. Plus, on the right and left wings, like just say Saka and Madueke, even for the sake of an argument, give them also a free roam type of roles. So we have striker, 3 number 10s technically, or left wing, right wing, and number 10, all on free roam type of role, and 2 6s in the double pivot, just so we have solidity and everything. One is a bit more defensive, one is more pushing forward, but overall, so we have the shape. I think we could try to do that because we have done it before, and that is not as far-fetched from Arteta, what he's doing right now, but it gives us more shape, more solidity, and more options in creative part as well, right? But like I could talk about also playing 5 at the back, 3 at the backs, and all this stuff, but Arteta is never going to change formation that drastically, despite the fact that he has used it, so that's a bit different story. That could work. Yeah, I think it could work. But hey, like, what do I know? I'm just a couch potato. I'm just a couch surfer. I'm just a couch fan, Sunday fan, and all this stuff, as they say, whatever this is. Coach football coach or something, whatever they want to put out and say that this is how bad we are and all this stuff. How we don't know football and everything. It's just my opinion, but obviously this is the biggest thing. Like, that is the nuts part. Like, there should be options. For me, the issue is Kai Havertz still. Obviously, we kind of swayed away from the topic about Kai Havertz. But I'm very confident. I cannot say very confident, but I'm quite confident that he's going to start on the 17th of August against United. I solely believe that he actually could start. I can see this happening. Gyökeres might not even start the game. Oh, he didn't have a preseason and everything. There will be excuses for that. He will come off the bench potentially. If Gyökeres starts, don't be surprised if Kai Havertz plays left wing. Seriously, or he plays as an 8 even. Interestingly enough, he was bought as a left 8. When he just arrived, Arteta said he is to be a midfielder. And for the first half of the season, in 23-24 season, we played him as a number 8, and that went well. We looked absolutely embarrassing, to say the least. Don't be surprised if we see him on a left wing or a number 8 or something weird like that. We need to show more creativity and speed in our build-up play. 100%, we need to stop being lopsided on Bukayo Saka. We need a proper left winger to take off pressure of Saka. We need proper number 10 like Eze to take off pressure of Saka. And we need to give them actually some free roam type of role, so they are not just touchline wingers. So basically, the defenders can gang up on them at the end of the day. And plus, we need a ball carrier through the middle, which could be actually Eberechi. Why wouldn't Kai start? I don't want Gyökeres getting injured. He isn't fit. In the first game of the season against Manchester United, you want Kai Havertz to start that striker. Really? He has still 2 games. He has 17 days to train with the squad. He will be fit. Let's be real. He will get up to speed. He will figure stuff out. Hopefully, Arteta figured stuff out how to use him properly. He will be good to go. Let's be real. He will be good to go. So there are no excuses not to start him in 16 days from now against United. There are literally no excuses. Unless he gets injured. Knock on wood and all that stuff. Drop salt over your shoulder and everything. So, yeah, I just, for me, Kai Havertz is one of the biggest enigmas in the team at the moment. That, for me, is the thing. If it's common sense, if Gyökeres starts, gets injured, we have to suffer Kai Havertz for longer. By that logic, don't start Gyökeres at all. Play him off the bench all the time. You want to tell me he's not going to get injured if he comes off the bench? You want to tell me he's not going to get injured in training? He's kind of, protected from that? He can get injured going down the stairs in his house even. He can slip, he can trip, and he can twist his ankle. That also can happen. And everything. There are lots of situations where he can get injured at the end of the day. But if you're worried that he's gonna get injured very quickly and we have to suffer with Kai Havertz longer, it makes no difference. If that is the logic, you don't start Gyökeres whatsoever. So that raised the question: why the hell did you spend 65 million on Gyökeres in general at the end of the day? Because you can easily start Havertz every single time and everything. It doesn't matter. No matter how you look at it, we will have to suffer with Kai Havertz to some extent because he's gonna play, and he's gonna play a lot. By the way, 65 million, 285 grand a week. He is going to play. He is going to play. In those instances, a fit Gyökeres is more durable. Yeah, he's gonna be fit. That non-fit. Well, that is logical. That everyone knows that. I am making sense. In my opinion, we have 16 days till season kicks off. He has 16 days to train, for example. Let's just say 10, because games and all that stuff, recoveries and everything. He's gonna play 2 games at the end of the day. He's gonna be in the shape. He will be ready. He will be ready. Like, there is no reason to start Kai Havertz. Like, I don't want to see Kai Havertz up top against United. Genuinely don't. There are so many reports, by the way, suggesting that Kai Havertz actually is going to start first 3-4 games of the season as a striker, despite who Arsenal are signing as the striker. That was before we signed Gyökeres. If that is the case, there is a possibility, actually, that if that is true, if true, right, we actually could be playing up top against Leeds, United, Liverpool, and Nottingham Forest Kai Havertz. I don't want to see that. I don't think any Arsenal fan wants to see that. That is the nuts part. Well, I cannot say any, because apparently Sheldon wants to see Kai Havertz up top against United. But yeah, for me, like, it's insane. Genuinely is insane. It's a bit like Arteta playing party at right back. Nonsense. Yeah, exactly. That kind of feels that way. Like, seriously, like, makes no sense. You're talking about snares that's not football related. Huh? I'm telling you, he shouldn't start if not fully fit. He is fit. He is just out of form just because he hasn't trained. Because the season for him finished early June. So you want to tell me that he is with the squad right now for what? 5 days right now? He's going to be with the squad for 16 more. So 21 days, 3 weeks exactly, right? He's going to train with the squad. He's going to play 2 friendly games still in the Emirates Cup. And you want to tell me he's not going to get fit? He has to start. There are no excuses not to start. For 3.5 years, we will have to suffer with Jesus in the hospital and Kai Havertz up top. Butler Adeji not getting a chance, Mika Biereth not getting a chance, Farlem Balogun not getting a chance, Edin Ketia being up top, not scoring for any single game, and Merino up top. Like, this, for me, this is, in my opinion, this is undebatable. Like, Gyökeres has to start. He's gonna be fit for the start of the season, in my opinion. And if he's fit, he has to start. So we have already one of the hardest starts of the season you can imagine. And I love it personally. That will genuinely put the team and the manager to the test to the maximum extent. And you should have the best squad ready for it. You should. And if he's not fit, well, that's on Arteta as well. Because he's responsible for that. He's also responsible why the deal didn't go. Well, not him specifically, but the deal didn't go for so long. Start the season with your strongest team with players playing their correct positions. Exactly. And you want to tell me that I just go it this way. Let's just do it this way. This is the start of the season for Arsenal. Obviously, the 2 games in the Cup, in Emirates Cup, we play on August 6th and August 9th. right? 1 week later, we play United. So, start of the season, United, Leeds, Liverpool, Forest, City, Newcastle, by the way, and West Ham at home. We all know that we have lost against West Ham at home 2 games in a row as well. We have absolutely no chance, no excuses for not to have the best team put out there. Because in these 6 games specifically, we can end our season right there. Seriously. We can end our season right there. Because for me personally, the way I see it, you cannot win a league title in 6 games, for example, but you can definitely lose a league title in 6 games. Because let's just say we lose to Liverpool, we lose to Newcastle, we draw against Man City. We have dropped 8 points already. Already 8 points dropped. What's going to happen against United, Leeds, and Nottingham Forest is a different story. Like, seriously, like, that is instantly done and dusted. Instantly done and dusted. No coming back from that. Like, the first 6 games already is a massive test. And to be honest, thank Lord, we don't have to play Leeds at Elland Road. Because if that Arsenal game against Leeds in the beginning of the season was at Elland Road, kind of believe we would have been screwed. Because first games of the season at newly promoted sides always is hell on earth. And let's be real, Arsenal would crumble there. Last time we played Leeds away, remember, that went well, and before that, even worse. Like, our start of the season, there is no reason not to start Gyökeres, not to start Zubimendi, not to start best available players. And even then, the fact that we have Mikel Arteta is a worry. And don't be surprised that obviously that when we play these games, that this bloke is somewhere in the squad. Left 8, left wing, somewhere. And if at Old Trafford he starts this guy over Gyökeres, sack him immediately. In the tunnel, at halftime, sack him. We need to drop Declan Rice. We haven't been good since he joined and gets shoehorned into the team regardless. Declan Rice is doing decently an 8, but he's not an 8 for me. For me, he's a 6. So this is the reason why I suggest us playing double pivot in 4-2-3-1. Play Rice and Zubimendi in the 6s. One can be more advanced, one can be more ball distributing, ball playing, one can be the hound that runs around, right? That could kind of cover maybe both instances quite easily. If we lose United, sack Arteta, I don't care what else we do. Facts. Can you imagine the outrage on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, I don't know, Club Penguin, wherever, if we lose to our United in the first game of the season? Can you imagine that? Big up views. Hope you're doing well today, my man. Hope you are doing well. Smash the likes, people, as well, if you haven't subscribed, if you're new, and go show some love to views as well. Arsenal fan, everything covers right now a bit broader, wider view of football. Let's just put it that way. Mostly it was about Arsenal. Now he talks about Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Chelsea, more about transfers. Always good shows with panels, and also going on individual content creators. Recently had Sunshine on and everything. Just go show him some love as well, people. Big up G Wills. Hope you're doing well. Arteta peaked in 22-23. Now he's on the decline. Yeah, basically. That's what I see, and it's worrying. Look at the type of football he's playing: stagnant, boring, and ineffective in attack. You can't win it with that. Exactly. Our defense last 2 seasons has bailed us out big time. Our last 2 seasons, our defense, you could argue, has been the sole reason why Arsenal have finished second in the league. Our defense, not our attack, our defense. Yes, we had a goal-scoring, record-breaking season, but Arteta said himself, it's an anomaly. He said it himself, not me. So, take that as you will, but hey. But yeah, our defense has basically kept us in game for the longest time. And I kind of starting to get a feeling that this season could be the season when the defense is starting to show cracks, to show some inefficiencies in terms of specific situations. It's bad enough that our attack cannot beat low blocks, mid-low blocks, just like together with midfield, because that's going to be another problem next season, which still in 6 years he hasn't figured the fuck out. But that's a bit different story. Excuse my French. But yeah, our defense has basically compensated for a lack of our attack and midfield, and this could be a big issue. Big up, Natalie. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's well in Belgium, and hope you're feeling well as too. Let's start looking for a real manager now. Berta might be the start. Simeone coming to the card. Maybe Simeone is almost on the same money, I think, as Mikel Arteta. A bit more, if I'm not mistaken. "20 highest paid football managers in the world." Oh, never mind. Simeone is on. Whoa. This is something new. This is something new. I hope Andrea Berta is already looking for Mikel Arteta replacements, by the way. I really hope he is already. Literally hope so. But yeah, this fucking hell. Simeone is on 26 mil almost a year. Inzaghi is on 22 almost. Pep is on 20.7. Arteta is the 4th highest paid manager in the world right now. Exactly, it's the coach. Well, some players it is, but most, obviously, 95% is the coach. Yeah, see? David Moyes at Everton, 12.5 mil. How he has managed to get that? $15.6 million for this fraud to win nothing. And look at the managers that are below him. David Moyes has won stuff. Pioli has won stuff. Luis Enrique just did a treble. Gets 6 million less than Mikel Arteta. Whoever that is. Generally, at the moment, the name doesn't ring a bell. Mourinho is on 9.2. Ancelotti at Brazil is on 8.4, so almost half. Unai Emery, okay. Laurent Blanc, okay. Vincent Kompany is on at gets half of what Mikel Arteta gets. Jabi Alonso, look at Jabi Alonso's salary at Real Madrid. A guy who went invincible in Bundesliga, won the Deutsche Pokal, and got to the final of Europa League. He gets 2.5 times less than Mikel Arteta. Arne Slot gets also 2.5 times less than Mikel Arteta at Liverpool. Fantastic, isn't it? Okay, this hasn't been updated yet, but it's a bit different. These two haven't been updated. But yeah, see? 2.5 times less than Arne Slot at Liverpool, Mikel Arteta is getting. Look at Glasner at Crystal Palace, 4.6 million. 3.5 times less than Mikel Arteta is getting. And they play bare football. They are achieving things. They won a trophy and everything. It's actually kind of insane if you come to think of it. Seriously. Fort Kai is based on what? We're good for the money, brings him on. Exactly. We are good for the money. We can pay the money to the manager we want. The thing is, who do they want? Because even if we sack Arteta or Arteta quits, do I trust this ownership to get the right manager in? No, I don't. So this should highly be on, I'm not gonna lie, on Andrea Berta and his recommendations. Let's just put it that way. It should be on that. But yeah, people. It is not looking too great, is it? It is genuinely not looking too great, is it? But ultimately, yeah, we have a very long season ahead of us. At some point, we should do a stream where we do Premier League predictions, by the way. Do you have any preferences when you want to do it? Do you want to do it, I don't know, next week? You want to do it this weekend? Tomorrow? Day after tomorrow? Premier League predictions for next season. I know it's going to be a bit subjective given the situation. The transfer window is still open for quite a while and everything. But yeah, when would you want to do it as well? Would love to do it together. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, that is the question for you all. But for today, I'm gonna be signing off. So, like the stream if you haven't already, subscribe if you are new. Big up to everyone who has been here, who has liked, who has subscribed. Hope you had a great time. I hope to see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, weekend is gonna treat you well. You can relax, you can chill, you can be good, and all this stuff. Gonna watch some football now. League One is back, League Two as well, I think. Football is coming back. Austrian League has begun. Quite a few bigger leagues are starting to kick off, so definitely gonna watch some football. Finally, genuinely starving for some football. But yeah, for today, I am signing off. Have a great weekend. Hopefully, see you all tomorrow in maybe another people's streams. Maybe we're gonna see you in this stream tomorrow. But yeah, for today, I am off. Peace.